Mercedes expect to close the gap on Red Bull and Ferrari at Spa, and they are said to be convinced that the two leading teams will lose 2 to 3 tenths due to the new floor technical directive that has come into place. The buzzword of this year's championship, Mercedes have had extreme porpoising. Ferrari have had a fair amount too, but Red Bull have almost none. As such, it has been Mercedes who have led the charge and the complaints when it comes to bouncing and urging the FIA to get involved, while Red Bull have pleaded with them not to. Motorsport's governing body is leaning on Mercedes' side of the argument, saying it is a safety issue. But while setting up the guidelines for Technical Directive TD039, the FIA discovered that some teams were using a grey area in the regulations to allow an area around planks and skid blocks to flex more than the 2mm laid out in the rules. That grey area will, from the Belgian Grand Prix onwards, no longer be in play, with the FIA clearly stipulating the mounting method that the teams have to use for the underfloor plank and the skid plates. According to Automotor and Sport's Michael Schmidt, Mercedes are all smiles as they are convinced that Ferrari and Red Bull would lose 2 to 3 tenths due to the TD in Spa. He, however, doubts it will be that big if there is any loss at all. "I'm not sure about that," he said. For Ferrari and Red Bull are a bit too relaxed about the new technical directive in Spa. Red Bull team boss Christian Horner says speculation that Red Bull was one of the teams working in the grey is total rubbish. Pressed as to whether Red Bull, as Toto Wolff believes, should be concerned, Horner replied, "No, zero. I mean, I don't know, maybe he's referring to, cars that are around him at the moment. I have no idea, but absolutely no issues or concerns on our floor." As for Ferrari team boss Mattia Binotto, he believes the TD is not acceptable. Schmidt says it is the FIA's plans to change the floor rules ahead of the 2023 championship that has Red Bull and Ferrari worried. Ferrari and Red Bull are more concerned about the 2023 floor changes, he said. Under those proposed rules, there'd be a 25mm raising of the floor edges, a raising of the underfloor diffuser throat, more stringent lateral floor deflection tests, and the use of a more accurate sensor to measure the bouncing. So with the new rule coming into place this season and the recent podiums for Mercedes, could Spa be the weekend that they challenge for a race win? Former F1 driver Jolyon Palmer thinks that they will be on the top step of the podium once more this season. Mercedes began 2022 well behind Red Bull Racing and Ferrari. The team did score podiums, but this was usually only because things went wrong for the Ferraris and the Red Bulls. As the summer break drew close, the Mercedes W13 became faster and faster, so much so that Russell took pole position in qualifying in Hungary. Palmer believes Mercedes have a serious chance of victory in the second half of the season. According to the Brit, a certain trend can be seen in the team. We're seeing a similar trend at the moment for Mercedes, Hamilton charging from further back and having what appears to be race-winning pace, but having too much to do to recover from his Saturdays, Palmer said at F1.com. In Hungary, Russell showed during his first stint that he had the speed that the Ferraris also had, while teammate Hamilton was often the fastest driver on the track during the second stint. Mercedes may still need some luck to win, but there have been clear steps forward from the start of this season. Ferrari is not exactly going into the summer break with a good feeling. In Hungary, the Italian team failed to finish on the podium with both Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Moreover, Ferrari again made a number of strategic mistakes, causing Max Verstappen to gain further ground in the World Championship. According to Emerson Fittipaldi, however, the team is coming back stronger. The former Formula One driver saw Ferrari stumble again in Hungary. It was allowed to start the race in second and third place, while Verstappen started from 10th. Despite this, it failed to finish ahead of the Dutchman. Strategically, they made mistakes, Fittipaldi judged in conversation with VegaInsider.com. "I don't know where they're missing the point, but I'm sure they will recognise that. Ferrari has the capacity, the people, the experience to recover. The one thing I can confirm again is that the car is very fast. The team is very good." Fittipaldi says he knows better than anyone that a team in the motorsport class sometimes gets into trouble, but that Ferrari has also shown what it is capable of. He expects the team to fight back in the second half of the season. They have a big potential to recover, learning from what mistakes they have done. From the mistakes, they'll learn better for sure, Fittipaldi stressed. The difference in the Constructors' Championship between Ferrari and Red Bull Racing is 97 points after the Hungarian GP. And Red Bull Racing may be in an excellent position with a 97-point lead in the Constructors' Championship and an 80-point lead in the Drivers' Championship. But Helmut Marko says it's not time to rest on your laurels. With 9 races to go, anything can happen. Speaking to OE24, Marko stressed there are still 225 points to be distributed, plus the points for fastest laps and the sprint race in Brazil. We really can't sit back yet, says the Austrian. Nevertheless, Max Verstappen does not currently have to pull out all the stops to win the championship, unlike Charles Leclerc. While Ferrari started the season strongly and were seen as the favourites for the world title in the early stages of 2022, that image has now changed. This is despite the strong car the team still has. How is that possible? By doing almost everything wrong, is Marko's simple conclusion. He points to the Hungarian Grand Prix, where Ferrari went wrong with both their tyre choice and pit stop strategy. Verstappen scored a spectacular win at the Hungaroring by pulling off a fine upset from P10. But Marko feels his performance is being overshadowed by all the praise Mercedes are receiving for Lewis Hamilton and George Russell's double podium. You are celebrating Toto and Mercedes as big winners, with the second and third place, argues the 79-year-old man from Graz. Mercedes believes it had a chance of victory were it not for Hamilton's DRS problem on Saturday. However, Marko stresses that Verstappen would have disappeared on the horizon had he started at the front. I just want to see that Max's performance is appreciated enough. After the bad luck in qualifying, he won from 10th on a circuit where you're not supposed to have a chance from the back. If he had been up front, he would have disappeared straight away, said the Red Bull advisor. There can be no doubt that Ferrari has one of, if not the quickest car on the grid, but what has let them down is strategy and reliability. After 13 Grand Prix in 2022, each team will have competed a total of 1,064 racing laps. Now that the summer break has begun, it's a good time to take a look at which teams are most reliable with their cars. McLaren is the team that tops the current list. Of the 1,564 possible laps, the team has completed 1,526. Drivers Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris have both had one abandonment this season, and Norris's was towards the end of the Miami GP, which meant that only a minimal number of laps were not completed. What is remarkable is that the entire top 3 consists of teams driving with Mercedes engines, as Aston Martin and Mercedes themselves are also doing excellent business. Williams, the 4th team with Mercedes engines, is not doing as well and in the middle of the pack. Alpine, the only team with Renault engines, is in 4th place. This is remarkable because the team has indicated several times before 2022 that it would rather have a fast but unreliable engine than a reliable one that would be slow. A lackluster start to 2022 and 2 unfortunate retirements by Sergio Perez later in the year have left Red Bull Racing in 5th place with a total of 1,430 laps completed. Sister team AlphaTauri is not doing much worse and has completed a respectable 89.1% with 1,393 laps. The problems are clearly visible at Ferrari, not only the Italian team itself, but also customer teams Alfa Romeo and Haas F1 are at the bottom of the list. With 1,281 laps, Ferrari has, by far, the fewest laps of 2022. The team often has technical problems and the customer teams clearly have the same. It is clear that Ferrari still needs to work on its engines. However, from 2022 onwards, this will be a lot more difficult than before, since this year an engine freeze is in force and no more improvements can be made. Electrical parts may still be improved until the 1st of September, but this will also be a difficult story as the factories have to close on Friday due to the summer break in Formula 1. Reliability can still be improving in the coming years, but only under the close scrutiny of the FIA. Ferrari has already demonstrated in 2022 that there is little wrong with the speed of the current engine.